So that is a quote of verses given for us. Om Ajnanatirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurinmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Swaminiti Namine Nama Sadbhaktamanaye Manipurdhavaya Cha Prabhupada Sadvani Prachara Niratayate Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pachatya Veshatarni Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the chapter 23 is going on. So the dynasties of the sons of Yayati. So it is very wonderful that Srimad Bhagavatam is a wonderful record of the dynasties going all the way back to the creation of the universe. So how wonderful this the tradition of Bhagavat culture. That the knowledge comes in guru-disciple succession. Who are thoroughly pure, honest, and whose only business is practicing, preserving, and propagating or passing on to the next generation this Bhagavat culture. Bhagavat Purana. So Bhagavat Purana is central to the Bhagavat culture. So in this the knowledge is wonderfully maintained and practiced and passed on. So the knowledge remains intact. And in case if there is any break in the guru-disciple succession or in the continuity of the books, sometimes some books are lost. Because this Bhagavat Purana is eternal, it is always there, doing its purpose. Bhagavat Purana is delineating the Bhagavat culture. So the Lord personally makes sure that the Bhagavat culture continues, the Bhagavat Parampara continues, and the Bhagavat knowledge continues. We have seen it in the Bhagavad Gita, where Lord is mentioning to Arjuna that Imam vivasvate gnanam proktavanaham avyayam. Vivasvan manive praha. What is the last line? So, this knowledge the Lord is giving from time immemorial. Bhagavat, Bhagavad Gita, both are same. The knowledge. Ikshve, Manave, Vivasvan, Manave Praha, Manave, Ikshvaka Abravit. So that's how the Bhagavad Gita came from sun planet to the earth planet. So this Bhagavad Purana also exists in different human cultures. where there is Athado Brahma Jignasa, where there is Brahma Jignasa. So, it is the prerequisite for Bhagavad culture. Bhagavad culture flourishes where there is Brahma Jignasa. So, this Jambudvipa and this Bharatavarsha is blessed with such extraordinary Jignasa, Brahma Jignasa. That is the exact distinction of India, distinction of this tract of land, Bharatavarsha. Here there is Brahma Jignasa. So, those who are eager to know Brahman, eager to know Lord Krishna, who is a Parabrahman, who wants to render service to him, who wants to know him. So they take birth in this tract of land and they get opportunity. So we should not deviate our life to something else. So due to globalization, it is very easy for us to forget the Bhagavad culture and get busy in the modern lifestyle. Modern lifestyle means forgetting Bhagavad culture, forgetting Bhagavat, forgetting Bhagavan. So modern lifestyle is so evolved that one hardly even remembers about himself or his basic necessities of life. One is not able to remain peaceful, remain in Saptaguna. Remain peaceful, keep his mind and senses peaceful. The six senses. Here, the king was able to enjoy for thousands of years his senses. There it was mentioned six senses. So, mind is a sixth sense. So, without having the mental pleasure, one cannot enjoy any other pleasure. Ashantasya kutah sukham. Krishna says, if the mind is ashanta, then one cannot attain any happiness. So this mind, mental peace is very important. Mental peace is also important also for Brahma Jignasa. Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogata Mukta Sangasya Jayate. So either to enjoy material happiness or to attain the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, one need to have peace of mind. It is a prerequisite for any happiness, material happiness or spiritual happiness. And Lord categorically tells in Bhagavad Gita that without being connected to the Lord, one cannot have mental peace. And without mental peace, ashantasya kutah sukham. Without shanti, where is happiness? So here the king, he got this blessings from the Tatreya, the incarnation of the Lord. That's why he is able to enjoy even the material pleasures, including mind. Mind has some demands to attain certain position and to remain in that position and manage the adversaries and remain peaceful. Then he can enjoy the facilities offered by the kingdom. So one can maintain his position of the king. and enjoy the subjects. He could do it because he has received blessings from the Lord. But one should not retain, even after attaining the darshan of the Dattatreya and receiving these benedictions, he was busy in enjoying the senses. No other king in this world could quarrel Krutavirya Arjuna in sacrifices, charity, austerity, mystic power, dedication and strength or mercy. For 85,000 years, Krutavirya Arjuna continuously enjoyed mental opulence with full bodily strength and unimpaired memory. In other words, he enjoyed inexhaustible material opulences with six senses. So, one can get busy for a very prolonged time. Here it is 85,000 years. He is busy in enjoying. So we cannot even live for 85 years. So that is the greatest lesson of the story of Yayati. Yayati's story is that even if we get prolonged time, one doesn't get satisfied. And one doesn't know how the time is passing. So it's very difficult to remain peaceful in this material world. All the senses are agitated, including the mind. So a person makes somehow some time to enjoy, but in this way his time passes, and one whose focus is on the mental enjoyment, time passes very quickly. And it is so degrading when one focuses on mental enjoyment. Dhanam janam sundarim kavitam. One does not mind to harm his close associates. Most close, even his own family member. Yayati, in order to enjoy his youth, he had exchanged his old age with his son. This could be the abominable thing that a father can do. But that is the nature of material enjoyment. It degrades our mind, it degrades our character. And we don't mind offending our own people to obtain position, to obtain enjoyment. So that is the madness of material enjoyment. So these are given so that we can take note of it. We don't need to waste 85,000 years. We don't need to go through the difficulties of Yayati. We don't need to subjugate our dependents or our beloved or those who are related to us, those who are close to us, for our own enjoyment. And ultimately, he was fortunate, he was able to realize that even if one gets all the wealth, all the women, all the followers, all the praise of the entire world, entire world, even if one gets, Even if he becomes king of the entire world, one doesn't become happy. One doesn't become satisfied. And that's how it starts. Initially one thinks that, okay, if I have control over this area, I will be happy. Then once he has that control, he start thinking about the other areas next adjacent, try to capture. And so in this process, one doesn't mind offending one's own people. So this is the materialism. We have to guard ourselves. We should learn to be happy with what we got. So that is a beautiful character. It is a beautiful trait. Can be cultivated only by the devotees. Only by the devotees. Not those who are wearing the devotee of the dress of the devotee. One who is truly has become imbibed the spirit of devotion. One may be not complete pure devotee yet, but if one imbibes the spirit of devotion, spirit of devotion means surrender to the Lord and surrender to the spiritual master. That one is ready to forego his happiness for the happiness of the Lord, happiness of the spiritual master. So this test will come in many of our things, in our eating, in our sleeping, in our mating, in our defending, in our aspirations, in everything this test will come, because the conflict will come. Because when we are not in spirit of devotion, the conflict will come with the spiritual master's intention and our desires, our intentions. So one who is in the spirit of devotion, at every step he makes the right choice to please the spiritual master Krishna. So that way he becomes purified, and that is actually the purification. So when one acquires that spirit of devotion, one gets purified and purified and purified, because Krishna brings those things into one's life on the way of one's own desires. One's own desire to have a lot of sense enjoyment, a lot of try to become controller of the area, expanding area. So Krishna brings this conflict of interest with his one's own desires and the desires of the spiritual master. Krishna shows us, and one who is in the spirit of devotion, he chooses properly. So one gets purified. And that is the greatest benediction of Krishna, is the spiritual master. So that we can easily see what he wants and what we want and how we are connecting ourselves. So this Ayati story is a big lesson, that even if you get everything, you can see our past. We are trying to acquire so many things. We are acquiring different things, but are we becoming happy by what we got? We are only becoming unhappy by next target, to occupy next thing, to get control of next thing. And recently I read one article on Ayati, I think. The struggle of Ayati is, I think, the writer says, it talks about the death. Let me see if it is, I have saved somewhere, I think. This article, very nice article, let me read it. It has appeared in Indian Express. It is written by it is written by one person who is about to die. Death, what if I am not in this world? It is written by Vivek Debra. He was a He was a well-known person. He achieved a lot of things. He wrote an unusual column short of Srila. What if I'm not in this world? He writes, after more than a month in the cardiac care center, and a private room in Ames, I am discharged. My wife Suparna has performed a modern day Savitri. Let me copy this very small here into another place to read. It can be shared. After more than a month in cardiac center, ICU in April, I am discharged. My wife Suparna has performed a modern day Savitri Satyavan, aided by the skills of the doctors. As time goes, a month is fleeting, but being virtually wiped off the face of the earth is not. Being virtually wiped off the face of the earth is not, because when you join ICU, critical care, you are. I managed to get the daily limericks going from the hospital, so people don't necessarily notice. My frequent co-author Aditya Sinha keeps some of the columns going. More people don't notice. For me, the external world is restricted to a thin sliver of a window in the room. I can see a pipe in the building outside. A monkey religiously clambers up every morning. It is restricted to counting the 4 IV drops as they pass through the cannula. Drip, drip. It is restricted to requesting Harris to bring the urinal or commode. Sometimes the bed gets soiled. Just a lump of flesh stretched out, stripped of normal norms of shame and modesty. Sometimes in a wheelchair or a hospital trolley, I am carted from one building to another, passing through the melee, through the sun shining, through the birds chirping on the green trees. There is a world outside that exists. What if I am not there? What indeed? A new book has arrived. Would you like to read it? Asked Suparna. The book happens to be 100 Places to See After You Die by Ken Jennings. We smile at each other. How singularly inappropriate. I don't feel like reading even when I can. I don't feel like watching TV even when I can. The same boring news, the same boring high decibel debates. It all seems so transient and puerile. But so am I, transient and puerile. A dot that might have been wiped off. In that event, what would have happened? A few condolences, perhaps even from important people. Irreparable loss. Perhaps a posthumous Padma Bhushan or Padma Vibhushan. A few obituaries. What will they mention? Trade work of 1980s, law reform of 1990s, state work of 2000s, railway reforms of 2015, even resignation from Rajiv Gandhi Institute in 2005. Who remembers? Nothing seminal about such work. Had a role in the rat race, was temporarily read and passed into oblivion, buried in journal archives. Perhaps the Purana project left incomplete. Manmadhanath Dutt was reborn to finish the Purana work. I will be reborn, but I hope not for this. irreparable loss at the age of 70, when life's productivity is as good as over. In other 10 years, what social value will I bring? Can it be measured, quantified, or imputed for? I give up the thought to complicate it. There are lives my life has touched, improved, even bruised. If they get to know, they may remember with fondness and bitterness. Such people don't write obituaries. No social loss, not much. Private loss is possible. To whom? My sons have been abroad after graduating from school, more American now than Indian. Will I hop onto a plane? For what? You know precious little about India. You will be less of a help and more of a hindrance. There will be a time to hop onto the plane. Not yet, not now. Not in time for the last hug, but in time for the funeral rites. At best, send money if needed. It was no different for my parents and me. However, that was spread across different cities in India. This is transcontinental. That was physical photographs. I will leave a digital imprint. Where is that old black and white photograph of my parents? Haven't seen it for a while. Once in a while, they will look at those digital imprints. Some remembrance, some childhood memories, some nostalgia. No permanent loss. None to friends and colleagues either. A few drop in. However, a month is a long time. People get bored and forget. Why do they drop in and want to hear about what happened and when? Weak and withering, why am I supposed to repeat every trivia? Genuine interest or a vicarious pleasure in death and disease? I want to put everything down on a piece of paper. I can offer it to them to read. Suparna vetoes the idea. Very rude. In the event, the only personal loss will be Suparna's. It matters nothing to anyone else. I think of Yayati. I have been unfair to him, interpreting it as desire for sensual pleasures. It is deeper. It is hankering after control over the physical body, the craving. So, he is putting it about the Yayati. There is a struggle to control over the physical body, the craving. So you want to have control over our senses, our bodies, so that we can enjoy the way we want, when we want, how we want. This is a real hankering of the soul. Will I trade my life for that of Harish? His son is saying, will he trade? He's saying, will he? Whether my son will do that. Was Prayopavesha such a terrible idea? Prayopavesha means fast until death. Generally in the Vedic times, people used to also sometimes fast until death in the last days. Some animals still practice it. I spend my time with such conversations in solitude, thinking about Salman Rushdie's knife and Ashtavakra Gita, recently called with Indol Sen Gupta. Oh Janaka, give up attachment. That's easier. Easier. Oh Janaka, dissociate yourself from your body. Impossible. Except when under local anesthesia, some surgical process is going on. The subconscious mind or hallucination. For a fleeting moment, amidst a blaze of lights, you seem to be whirled around the stellar system, separated from the body. A delirious moment of bliss. A moment you would like to recreate and replicate, but can't. It is not time for erasure. The body will heal in due course. I am not sure about the beating the mind has taken. I think for the better. So these are some of the thoughts of a statesman, accomplished person who is about to leave his body and who was disconnected from the world, having admitted into critical care unit in the hospital. So very nice realizations, thoughts he has at the end of life. So in Kali Yuga, old age and disease and death, they come very fast. There's no much time. So Yayati's story highlights our hankering to have control over body and our senses. Is a deep hankering for the control of the body and senses and mind. Mind control in the sense that we want to fulfill the demands of the mind. So therefore we struggle to adjust outside situation and we try to offend, conflict, and so this is the struggle one has to come out, and it is only possible through the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavat culture. When one is able to taste the nectar of devotion, a drop of nectar of devotion, that is, the beginning is surrender. Surrender means we give up our desires for the sake of desires of our spiritual master. As soon as we know that there something is spiritual master's intention, so one should be happily embrace that, giving up one's own claims, one's own preferences, desires, and indulgences. So if that kind of spirit of devotion one inculcates, in no time, as Krishna says, I am the swift deliverer of my devotee. Devotee means not one who is wearing the dress and doing the prescribed things as a matter of duty. So it will take a long time to really imbibe the spirit of devotion. So unless we imbibe that spirit of devotion, it's very difficult to get purified. It can very well take very long time. So we should be very careful in imbibing the spirit of devotion and the purity of mind. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So any questions are there? We'll take 2 questions.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj, for the class. Yeah, so any questions? I would devotees, please come forward. Kirtavirya Arjuna was a devotee of Lord Dattatreya. So he is a devotee, we can say.
Yes.
Can we say? But still he is inculcating such action, such feelings are, and he is not recognizing Lord Parsuram and his qualities. It is quite contradictory.
I don't know the full story. Here what is mentioned is a little less. So very difficult to comment without knowing his life story. Yeah, but one can be a devotee in the sense, devotee with not the spirit of devotion. If if all that one is interested is to doing devotion is to get something from the Lord, so that is devotee with the spirit of devotion. So the devotion means how to satisfy the Lord, not satisfy oneself. That is a true devotee. But without that spirit of devotion, by worshipping, one can get all these things. No other king in the world could equal to him in sacrifice, charity, austerity, mystic power, education, strength, and mercy. But in this, the devotion is not mentioned here. So he got all this by the blessings of the Lord, right? But the devotion is the real thing. It is not mentioned here. Nobody could equal in his devotion as a great devotee. So, ultimately these things will waste the time, valuable time of the human being. So, from these we have to learn lesson, what we ask, what we cultivate, what we nurture, what we indulge. So Bhagavad is for our, to take, Bhagavad is like an Acharya. Acharya is one who teaches by example. One's own example. So Bhagavad teaches by the example of the Bhagavatas. And the kings who are around them and those whose lives are teaching for us some what to do, some what not to do. So Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam Maharaj. Maharaj, like we are practicing this devotional service, but like somehow we know we are stuck with some our selfish behavior, but every day we are trying to evolve in our day-to-day life. So in this practice of and in this journey, how will I know that, and like how will I have this proper mood of devotion, how like to imbibe this proper mood? If I fail to bring this proper mood of devotion, will I be failed at the end?
We will not fail at the end, but it will take little longer time. Because whoever comes to the path of devotion, Krishna is not going to leave. So Krishna will not let us fail ultimately, but it may take little longer time. Longer time, because if you don't desire Krishna as much as is required, then we may not reach Krishna. To reach Krishna, we should have desire to get Krishna. Force. There should be force inside to get Krishna, Like escape velocity, we give example. A rocket, you fire, if there is no end of velocity, it will fall down. If you fire with a velocity, it will become a satellite. It is not on the earth, but it keeps rotating around the earth. And there is one velocity more than that. If you fire with that, it grows out of the gravity of the earth. So devotion also something like that. So if we do bhakti very, very occasionally, then when we raise up and then we come down again. But if we continue to regularly, but not cultivating proper spirit of devotion, then we are not completely in the materialism, but at the same time we are not also out of it. We are keep rotating around it, not able to go out of it. So, but if one develops proper spirit of devotion, he keeps going. No? He may appear at a less level than the one who is rotating satellite, right? But because he already attained the velocity or the proper mode, very soon he cross over all the Earth's all orbits, and escape all the orbits and go out of the gravity of the Earth. So the spirit of devotion is very important, rather than what state we are in, how much we are better than other right now. The more important is that what kind of spirit I have. It's not that anything you do regularly becomes a skill. So devotional activity should not be a skill. It remains a skill if we don't cultivate proper spirit. Devotional activity become like a skill, like when you in the beginning you like driving, after some time it becomes very natural to drive without your attention. So devotional service also like that. By practicing different things, how to put tilak, how to chant, how to this. So if we don't apply proper mindset and proper spirit, it will also become like an expert driver who doesn't need to pay attention and just drives everything. So we should not let the devotion like that. So therefore our spirit should be intact. For that we should have a proper association who have that kind of spirit. Those who care Sri Guru, those who prioritize Sri Guru than their own desires, those who are having great desire to develop love for Krishna, love for Sri Guru. So we should try to associate with those kinds of people, physically, mentally, intellectually, and spiritually. So Bhagavat, we are associating with all these great acharyas and Bhagavatas who have that spirit. This is how we develop. We have to meditate on their consciousness. So it is possible by constant endeavor. Our endeavor generally what happens? To develop the skill and try to manage sevas and try to capture as much as possible, control over other people and other areas and things like that. So it is not proper direction. Proper direction is what pleases Krishna, what pleases Guru Maharaj, what pleases Sri Guru. So one who falls in that track, he will forward. So we take the association early morning Bhagavad reading is for that purpose. We meditate on them. Then we meditate on our acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Shripad, and the devotees who are serious. Serious, not doing just hard work to attain certain thing. That is also good, but the real thing is that one who has proper spirit of devotion. So that we should look for, not somebody has a lot of money, somebody is able to do very nice kirtan. These skills we have to develop, but they are not the goal. The goal is the spirit. We have to try to find that person who has that spirit to please Krishna and to please Sri Guru. And that is very, very rare. They are not so easily available, but if we are sincere, Krishna gives us intelligence to observe such kind of people. We observe what we are looking for. That is our nature, that we observe what we are looking for. So, if we try to look for such kind of association, we can see them. If you are looking for somebody who is very trying to become expert in different things and trying to gather a lot of money, a lot of people, a lot of centers, then you will see such person try to cultivate his skills and his mood, and you try to become like him or her. But if you focus on the spirit, then you will be able to see the person, and you try to become like him, then you will also do sacrifice like him, you also austere like him as much as required. You will also give up your desires for Sri Guru's and Krishna's desires. So in this way, this association is very, very important, and we get what we are looking for. So we should be careful in what we are looking for. So when we are looking for the assets in devotion service, we get attached to them, we miss these persons who have the spirit of devotion. And we even choose these devotional assets over the person who has that spirit. That is the greatest misfortune of a person. But if we don't properly tune what we are looking for and what spirit we want to inculcate, then we will be very much rotating like a satellite, not on the earth, but at the same time not out of the gravity of the earth. Like that, we are not in Maya, at the same time we are not also out of the Maya, Maya's influence, rotating around the material things with the devotion or in the name of devotion. So we should cultivate that spirit, that association, and that. So that's why Bhagavat daily study is very important. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I would like to take leave because we have to travel. And thank you all for joining and paying your attention. Jai Guru Maharaj Srila Shripad ki Jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
Thank you, Maharaj, for the class. His Holiness Bhakti Swarup Vrajpati Maharaj ki Jai. Thank you all the devotees, Senior Vaishnavas, Hare Krishna, Dandavata Pranam.